So in this particular lecture, the topic is all about introduction to genetic algorithm. What we are going to cover today is basically what is genetic algorithm, which type of algorithm it is, then what are the basic terminologies we are going to use for genetic algorithm, then what procedure do we follow for genetic algorithm, and the flowchart for genetic algorithm. So these are the topics we are going to cover. Now starting up with this, first of all, as we have seen in the earlier lecture also, that is genetic algorithm is what it is, an optimization technique, right? We have seen what is optimization. Optimization is if we have a set of solutions, right? A large number of solutions is available, then we are going to find out the best feasible solution out of those particular solutions, right? So that particular best solution can be in two terms. It can be in maximum terms, maxima, or in terms of minima. Like we need minimum time to recover from the failure of the system. That is like we need to have optimized will be minimum time, minimum memory, space is being covered. So those are what minimum. And we talk, when we talk about maximum, so maximum is giving the maximum efficiency. So maximum is in terms of that. Now when we say genetic algorithm is an optimization technique, we are saying any engineering problem will have a large number of solutions, right, out of which some are feasible and some are infeasible. Now the designer's task is to get the best solution, just focus on this point, best solution out of all the possible feasible solutions. So we are going to find, this is the way how we are going to find the optimized solution. The complete set of feasible solution is called as the design space. This is called as the design space in terminologies of genetic algorithms. It is also called as the search space, where all the feasible solutions are present and out of which we have to find the best. Now optimization techniques can be of different types. What are the basic terminologies or concept we are using in genetic algorithm? First of all, genetic algorithm, as we have seen in the earlier lecture also, that it is an evolutionary based methodology. Evolutionary based methodology that was, based on the concept of biological evolution. So it is inspired by biological evolution. That is what I was telling you, to find the solution out of the large search space or search area. So out of this large search area, we are going to find out the best solution with the help of the methodology of biological evolution. That means genetic algorithm is going to mimic the biological evolution. As we have seen, the neural network was mimicking the brain, the biological brain, and here genetic algorithm is mimicking the concept of biological evolution to find the best solution. It is used to optimize a population to find out the best possible feasible solution. It mimics what? It mimics natural evolution, which is inspired by such as inheritance, mutation, selection, crossover, etc. etc. So these are what? These are the basic characteristics, the natural characteristics of natural evolution. You must have seen when we see a child inherits certain features of parents. Maybe it can be of mother, it can be of father, and so on and so forth. So in this particular part, we just want to see that inheritance, crossover means certain features are mixed features of the newborn, right? That means the child is having certain properties which are of father and some properties which are of mother, so getting this as the crossover. So these are the natural characteristics based on which natural evolution is defined or inspired. So that is what we are going to work on with the genetic algorithm also. Now the basic terminologies we use are firstly the chromosomes, genes. All these particular terminologies are used in biology, right? So we are going to use it in the genetic algorithm also, but in an artificial form. So chromosomes, genes, trait, alleles, locus, genome, genotype, and phenotype. We are going to see what are these. Firstly, what are chromosomes? Chromosomes, what is it? All living organisms consist of cells. In each cell, there is some set of chromosomes. They are strings of DNA and serves as a model for whole organism. That means these chromosomes are just like strings of DNA. So these particular strings of DNA are in terms of biology, but when we talk about the artificial chromosomes, it is in binary form. That is it is a string of 0 or 1. It is a series of 0 or 1. This is what the artificial chromosome is about. Next one is genes. A chromosome consists of genes, blocks of DNA. Each gene encodes a particular pattern. That is what? In a particular chromosome, that particular chromosome is consisting of genes and block of DNAs. Each gene encodes a particular pattern. That means each gene will have its own particular pattern, and that particular specific pattern is called as the trait. Is called as the trait, right? Each gene encodes a trait. Now every gene, that means each gene encodes a trait. Now when we see it biologically, what does it mean? We can see that every human being has eyes, right? But the color of eyes depends on the genes. The color of eye is defined as the trait of the genes from the chromosome, right? A chromosome is having the genes, and genes is having certain traits. A particular pattern of genes is defined as the trait. So genes in which we have the color, in which we have the brown color of eyes, we have black color of eyes, all these are what? These are the trait of genes. That means different patterns of genes. Now what is alleles? Alleles are possible settings for a trait. That means defining the color of the eye, that is either blue, green or black. These are what? Alleles. And when we define the attribute as the color of eye, what is it? It is the trait, right? Now next one is genome. Complete set of genetic material, all chromosomes is called genome. That means when we have complete set of genetic material, that means we are talking about all the chromosomes. When we have complete set of all the chromosomes, it is called as the genome. So genome is kind of a superset for the chromosomes. Genotype is what? Any particular set of genes in genome is called as genotype. That means in genome, what is genome? Genome is a complete set of all chromosomes, and when we have a particular set of genes in the genome, that is called as genotype. Now what is phenotype? Development in characteristics after birth is called as the phenotype. That means whatever characteristics that has been included in the child after birth, that is called as phenotype. That means the color of the eye, color of hair, all the possible alleles that are present, that is defined as the phenotype, right? Now genetic algorithm was defined or invented or introduced, I would say, in 1980s by John Holland. He originated or introduced the concept of genetic algorithm in 1970. What was his aim? His aim was to mimic the nature evolution in the computers. That means he wanted to make the computers do what the nature does. Holland was concerned with algorithms that manipulate the strings of binary. So obviously in natural the chromosomes we have different patterns in the DNA, but here what we have in the chromosomes, we have binary digits, that is 0 or 1. So each artificial chromosome, now you can understand what is a chromosome consists of number of genes, and each gene is consisting of 0 and 1. So this is what, this 1 is what? It is a single gene. This is another genes. So this is G2, genes 2, genes 1, gene 3, gene 4, and this complete set is what? This is a chromosome, right? This is a chromosome. Then each genes will have its feature or a particular pattern that is called as trait, and each trait will have a specific design that is called as the allele. So this is what we have in artificial concept. Now, nature has the ability to adapt and learn without being told what to do. Now, see, in nature, in the nature evolution, there is no one who is going to tell us that what should we do, how the reproduction is being done, how the characteristics of parents are being inherited by the child. No one is going to tell us. So, in the nature, all the finding of good chromosomes is handled blindly, right? But what we are going to do, we are going to introduce this concept in GA this same way. So we are going to use two mechanisms which are very important in the genetic algorithm, that is called as encoding and evaluation, sorry, encoding and evaluation. Now encoding and evaluation is what we are going to see in the detail in the further lectures, right? So the GA uses a measure of fitness of individual. This is again a very important point which I discussed yesterday also in the last lecture. Fitness of individual chromosomes to carry out production. That means we say is that the fittest will survive. That means the fitness function, the best characteristic of that particular organism is going to help him to survive in future. So we are going to decide on the basis of certain feature that this is the fitness of this individual. So what is that? So we measure what? We measure the fitness of individual. So here in artificial intelligence in genetic algorithm, we call it as fitness function of a individual. As reproduction takes place, the crossover operator exchanges parts of two single chromosomes, and the mutation operator changes the gene value in some randomly chosen location of the chromosomes. That means what we are going to use, we are going to use certain operators in reproduction genetic algorithm. What are those? They are these are crossover operator. What is crossover operator? They are going to exchange two single chromosomes with each other. This we will do in detail in the further lectures also. And the mutation operator changes the gene value in some randomly chosen location. So this I'll explain in further lectures. How the crossover is taking place and how the mutation is taking place. But we need to remember that the mechanism we are going to use in genetic algorithm is encoding, evaluation, fitness function, crossover operator, and the mutation. Right? These are the major mechanism we are going to use. Now, what is the search space? The space for all possible solutions, feasible solution is called as search space. Now, what is search space? Search space is whatever the set of possible solutions we have, that particular is called as the search space. And out of this search space, we are going to find out the best solution according to the fitness function. We are going to select the chromosomes who have the best fitness, right? And then we are going to do what? We are going to use the evaluation, encoding, and reproduction purpose. Each point in search space represents one feasible solution. So in search space, we have number of points. Out of these points, one point will, represent one feasible solution. Each feasible solution can be marked by its value or fitness for the problem that I have already defined. That each problem or each point will have its own fitness for the problem. That we are going to find out what will be the fitness function for a specific problem. Now, what procedure we are going to follow in genetic algorithm is, firstly, first step is to start. Now, in the start, what we have to do, we have to generate a random population of n chromosomes. That means here we are talking about the artificial chromosomes. All suitable solutions for the problem are to be taken as the population. So the complete set of n chromosomes is called as the population. Next, second point is to find the fitness, right? We have to evaluate the fitness function, because with the help of fitness function, we are going to find out which chromosomes are good and which are bad. So fitness function of each chromosome X in the population is to be evaluated. Third point, new population is generated. That means we are going to create new population by repeating following steps until the new population is complete. We are going to follow these steps which I am going to tell you now to create the new population, and this will be repeated until we get the final solution. First one is selection. Selection is what? We are going to select two parent chromosomes from a population according to their fitness function. That means whichever points will have the best fitness function will be selected to be the parents, and they will give birth to the new population, right? New point. Next, second point is crossover will be done. Crossover is what? With the crossover probability, crossover the parents to form a new spring children. If no crossover was performed, offspring is an exact copy of parents. See what we are doing? We are doing that if we have a parent 1 and parent 2 and we need to create a child, these two parents will give birth to child. So certain properties of parent 1 are to be inherited and certain properties of parent 2 are to be inherited, right? If no crossover, if no exchange and swapping of done is to be done, then we will get a complete copy of either parent 2 or parent 1, and that will be of no use. So we need to have a new population who is having certain properties of parent 1 and certain properties of parent 2. See, this we will do in detail, what are the crossover and how many types of crossover is to be done and how are they are done in the further lectures. So this is just a basic. Now, third one is mutation. Mutation is what? Mutation is done. We change the value of gene in a single chromosome. That is called as mutation. That is flipping of a bit. If there is 0 in a chromosome, in this chromosome, let's say this is 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. So if I'm doing mutation, I can flip this bit. From 1, 0, I can randomly generate it as 0. So this will be different, right? And last one is accepting. That means placing the new offspring in a new population. Now, fourth step, what we have to do, we have to replace the population that we have told. And fifth is we will test it. That is, if the end condition is satisfied, stop and return the best solution in current population. That means if we get the final solution, then we can stop here. And if we do not get, then we are going to start the iteration from second step and do it again and again till we get the final solution. So what is the flow chart? Can say it is start, generate initial population, calculate the fitness of population, satisfy stop criteria. What are the 4 steps we have to follow? We have to do the selection procedure. There are different types of selection procedures we will see in further lectures. This is Rowlett I have written. Then we have crossover to produce children. Third, we have mutation of children. Fourth, we will calculate the fitness of children. And fifth one is new generation or elitism is being done. Then we will place it and stop the criteria and give the end. If we do not satisfy the criteria, we move to the again next step, right? So this is the flowchart of genetic algorithm. So that's all for today's lecture. Thank you very much.